What's good, everybody? Lucky Lefty Podcast, Honora Boys. We are in the building, brought to you by Honora Whiskey, HonoraWhiskey.com. It is that premium American whiskey, HonoraWhiskey.com. And Left, if you're going to partake of spirits leading into New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, celebrating the calendar, flipping to 2026, we want everybody to make sure that they do it
responsibly. You didn't make that sound too good. You didn't make it sound too good.
You didn't like that one? You didn't like that one?
Taking spirits into the next year, SD?
Well, spirits in the form of drinks, not those types of spirits. But if you're going to celebrate at midnight by drinking spirits, make sure you do it
responsibly.
Let's get it, Left. Lucky Lefty Podcast. I am Sean Davis, SB2 Mics. That dude right there, the original Lucky Lefty himself, MALIK ZAIRE. We are brought to you by Honora Whiskey, HonoraWhiskey.com, courtesy of Bleav Network, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, Edibles, each and every day. Check us out, tap in on the audio side. We appreciate you in advance. Subscribe on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. It helps with the views. Leave your comments and questions. We indeed respond to all. X, TikTok, Instagram at Lucky Lefty Pod. And presented by FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com and you will find that in the Rose Bowl, which I would like to mention something about that Left coming up shortly. The Indiana has been installed as a 6.5-point favorite over the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, that's more in line with what I thought in comparison to the 9.5 that Miami is getting as an underdog against Ohio State. But 6.5 for Indiana, Curt Cignetti and his crew going up against Kalen DeBoer and the Crimson Tide, that sounds about right for the Rose Bowl. You can get those lines for the quarterfinals and much more over at FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app or simply go to FanDuel.com. We are the home of the misguided passion, and we are forever committed to making sure that we spin it different. All right, Left, how you feeling, man? The 30th of this year, a year that I feel like was in overdrive. This has been one of the fastest years I've ever experienced in my life.
Think so? In what way? In what way?
It's just gone fast for me, bro.
Yeah.
It's just gone fast. Just like, it just really has. Some years drag, but this year has gone really fast for me. Just the time from Thanksgiving to Christmas was like light years. Yeah, it was crazy, man. It was crazy. Have you been binge watching anything worthwhile?
Well, you know, the Stranger Things has been building up the hype. I pretty much watched everything you can watch on Netflix, man. It's just, you know, some of these shows is cookie cutter. I haven't seen anything to catch my eye, but the Stranger Things has been out. Other than Culinary Wars, you know, that great show. You know, them Asians and them Koreans, well, they be chefing it up, man. You know, them fine dining.
Yo, it's a dude on YouTube that I enjoy. His coach, Chef AB. His channel was Smoking and Grilling with AB.
Yep, I made his spaghetti. I made his spaghetti.
I was looking at his smothered chicken joint right before you got on.
He make it look good. He make it look easy. You know, that's what I like about it. He make it seem real easy to put it together.
Yeah, I like AB. Smoking and Grilling with AB. You know, if you want to get to some new recipes for 2026, it's a channel that I highly recommend. Check him out.
Yes, sir. Highly recommend.
So let's talk about these bowl games not being sold out.
See, when everybody talking about us, they talking about us. Bowl game.
Everybody's talking about Notre Dame and football doesn't need Notre Dame. Notre Dame sold out all of their bowl games. Wherever
And
Notre
so,
Dame went last year, it was sold out. Home game against Indiana, sold out. Sugar Bowl, sold out. Orange Bowl, sold out. I mean, national championship game, sold out.
the price of the tickets went up too.
Oh,
It wasn't
absolutely.
pricing. No.
Absolutely. You getting in the door for the Miami Ohio State game with $32. Where they do that at? Where?
In the door?
In the door. You getting in the door for $32.
They might as well give them away for free. You know how they bring the little kids or the deaf and blind or something? They bring a busload of them to fill up them seats.
I just don't understand. Well, what's wrong? The ratings of the last two games in the first round were awful. Awful. Absolutely awful.
Atrocious.
College football is learning a harsh lesson. Notre Dame is needed more than you think. Despite, shall I say, your hate.
They despise us. Despite the despite. Despise the despite.
I ask people the question. Notre Dame is useless, as you say. Why do the conferences deem them necessary when all the major decisions are made?
Ooh. They in the room.
If I'm closing on the home left, my wife is coming with me. That's it. I'm not bringing my mama.
No.
I'm not bringing my sisters. I'm not bringing my brothers. I'm not bringing members from the church. It's me and my wife. I'm not even bringing my daughter. Why is it that the conferences, when they need to make major decisions, always call Notre Dame into the room? Why?
Into the room.
Why do you always call them into the room? Or wow, I'll use another phrase. Why do you allow them in the room?
It's for counsel. It's for counsel. They just can't just willy-nilly make decisions without the advice or the counseling of what Notre Dame thinks. And then with the structures and business partnerships we have, you really just can't make no decisions without considering Notre Dame. NBC and their big contract with the Big Ten last year, they had to talk Notre Dame involved because we were the A package. Meaning, y'all coming in to get the kits and bibbles and you know, maybe a couple games when Notre Dame's on the bye week. So y'all couldn't just say, hey, NBC, let's do some deals. NBC said, wait, I'm going to bring my partner in and we can negotiate. No different than these rules with college football. When the playoffs first came out, Notre Dame was in the room with other conferences. Jack Swarbrick was holding it down, saying, okay, this is what you're going to give me. This is what we would like. This is what we're cool with. This is what y'all, and we're good. Let everybody sign what Notre Dame agreed to together. So, yeah, you're right. For us to be so irrelevant, we sure do get called a lot for counsel, advice, partnerships, money opportunities, STEMI packages. I mean, you name it. We are seeing ourselves as being in a used situation. Where is Notre Dame winning? All I hear on the internet is just more despise of Notre Dame. I don't get it.
I get it. I understand why. There's a lack of understanding. Word of God tells us, love, and all thy getting, get an understanding. And so the followers, or the sheep, shall I say, are led by irresponsible media. They're led by the narratives. And all you have to do is just ask yourself the honest question. Everyone that's telling you that Notre Dame is bad for football, bad for college football, they're elitists, so on and so forth. Everything they're laying before you as information that you're consuming. Why are they continually in the room cutting deals with them? Why do they rock with them? I know if I don't rock with somebody, I'm not doing deals with you. I'm not constantly commingling business with you.
I'm not doing business against my own group.
If I think you're so unethical and I'm disgusted by the way you move, I'm disgusted by the way you opt out of bowl games, I'm disgusted why you snub your nose at everybody else and don't join the conference. If I'm so disgusted, why do I continue to rock with you? Why have I continued to rock with you through the BCS era, through the 14 playoff, 12-team playoff, now possible 16-team playoff? Why are we constantly allowing you in the room or calling for you to be in the room? Just ask yourself that question before you go out and tweet something foolish and misinformed concerning Notre Dame. Just being a sheep and just following.
Just being a sheep.
Just following the narratives. That's all. Just following a head coach that can step up to the mic at this press conference and just talk about the many lies that have come forth out of his mouth, his athletic director's mouth, the leaks to the LA Times. Just continue to try to dress it up and package it by uttering what Marcus Freeman said out of a spirit of competition.
Yeah, like it was law, or like he put it in scripture or something. It's like, oh, y'all clip farming. That's what the kids say. Clip farming is press conferences for sound bites that y'all can hold as an argument. If that's the main argument, Marcus Freeman said something. Not Marcus Freeman had the power to be, or
as a competitor, though, left. As a competitor. He's being a competitor. And it's literally
scapegoat move.
Everyone else is saying we no longer want to be competitors. We don't want to compete. If we can use our conference schedule as a reason not to step outside of the conference and play tough games, we'll do that.
Yeah, they basically said it's too hard, man. We already got these other guys that are tough to beat. But why would we, after we go through this quote-unquote gauntlet, do we want to play Notre Dame? Because it's a guaranteed loss. If it was so easy, if it was the Raging Cajuns, they wouldn't have a problem.
Left, who had the toughest first two games of the season in college football?
Clearly Notre Dame. Clearly.
Okay. And Notre Dame took that chance, did they not? They didn't have to take that chance.
Every year we take it.
They took that chance. It was a chance that they took. And they strategically took it because they figured that this 2025 team would be one of their best teams that would be ready to accept that challenge. It was a risk that ended up hurting them in the long run. You live with that as a competitor. You live with that. So what if you have 2 losses and you're playing Notre Dame at the end of the year? So what? If you're a great team or a big-time program, that's the risk you take. And everybody in college football now wants to avoid risk. Wants to avoid risk. It's not about competition. It's not about these players. It's not about these players. These players will go out and play. These players aren't thinking about scheduling. These are cowardly coaches that are trying to get bonuses, that are trying to make sure they reach goals, and athletic directors trying to find the better path or the easier path to make sure they get to the playoff. You would talk about NIL. You could talk about the business of college football, the transfer portal, and all the things about these young men and these players that upsets everybody. But what's being shown right before you is how cowardly the adults at the top of college football are acting and how they place competition in the background of business, and it's hurting the product, it's hurting rivalries. The Texas-Oklahoma rivalry is not the same with Texas in the SEC and Oklahoma now also in the SEC, but the Lincoln Riley effect hurt that rivalry. It hurt it. That's my opinion.
I think
for a couple of years, that rivalry took a back seat. It wasn't the same. All because of a coward that ran from the fight. And it's happening all over college football. It's happening all over college football. It's not just USC that's running.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not just USC that's running. There are a lot of people in these conferences complaining about 9-game schedules and how tough these 9-game schedules are.
Yeah.
And what's amazing is that when you look at Notre Dame's schedule next year, it looks soft. November is very tough with Miami and BYU, if BYU ends up being in the second half of the season. But because of the transfer portal, any team on that schedule can jump up and be tough or tougher than people expected. That's just the way of college football. That's just the way of college football. So we as fans, we're being hurt by the money of college football. And it's not necessarily the money of the transfer portal and NIL, which has definitely impacted the landscape of college football.
Definitely.
I believe it spread out the talent more, my opinion. However, it's caused the competition, the true spirit of competition has taken a back seat to the business of football.
Yes.
It's taking a back seat. And that right there, my friends, is what makes everything so difficult and so sad.
It's turned into boxing. USC is trying to wait our prime out and then want to fight us. And that's what they're doing. Everybody turned into a prime fighter. Nobody wants to lose. Everybody's picking and choosing and not playing games because they're trying to have a 50-0 record. Well, guess what, guys? Unfortunately, like SD said, the competition goes out the window because USC is not coming from a perspective of competition at all. What USC is saying is, hey, guys, we are trying to strategize a pathway to the playoffs. Notre Dame in that pathway is not going to be conducive with everything else going on. They're not speaking from a Trojan and Notre Dame standpoint. They're speaking on how do we make money to get to the playoffs? Who do we have to schedule to get us to the playoffs? Notre Dame is just not going to cut it for us. Because why are we taking that chance? Why would we want to take that chance? It's not about Notre Dame football and the rivalry no more. This is about making it to the playoffs. And because we are not Ohio State, Notre Dame, or Georgia every year, we have to pick and choose and act like we're Notre Dame. We have to act like we're independent now and try to pick and select our schedule that's conducive for us. That's what y'all telling us. But it's funny because that's what Notre Dame does. Hello? You think Miami and Texas A&M, who have so much to say about us now, how did they get on the schedule? How? If everybody is so Notre Dame sucks and irrelevant in this, how did Miami and Texas A&M get on the schedule? One of them had to pick up the phone and say, "We would love to play you guys." What are we talking about? How are we getting all these teams on the schedule, like you say, if we're so poo-poo? So you couldn't have be too mad that Notre Dame moves this way. Because, like you said, they can't stop answering the phone. They want to show hate in the open, but love us undercover. That's how they treat us, SD. What the Lord said? Don't praise me in under the covers. Praise me in the open. Y'all want to run the Jesus, oh Jesus, please, at night with your milk and cookies, and I just want to run you through the day, No, praise me through the day. Don't have the conference come out and say, oh, Notre Dame's egregious and they quitters and they this and that. And your main team comes and say, hey, we don't believe what they're saying. we don't share those same sentiments. We would like to do business. So that's why I like where Notre Dame remains is a team that continually seeks the teams that they want and they need. And it's just unfortunate that nobody was saying this during the Brian Kelly era. Nobody was saying, oh, Notre Dame, we don't want to schedule them during Brian Kelly's era. But now Marcus Freeman win a few games. And y'all like, well, we don't want that smoke. And the excuse is, oh, it doesn't benefit us either way. What do you mean? We have plenty of examples of teams that have gotten benefited. Not only by showing up, we talking about just showing up to the game. You getting benefited with a crowd experience, a prime time game, the economy of the city goes up, hotels rented out. It's crazy. That's before the game even starts, let alone you win. That's like a bowl game. Essentially, it's like a bowl game. Notre Dame come to your town, blow up your account, make about 70, 50 million in that weekend. You possibly win, y'all get a Gatorade bath. That sounds like a bowl game. The only thing missing is bowl gifts. But the bowl gifts are what teams do by taking bye weeks before they play us. The bowl gifts that teams do after they play us is play teams like Bethune-Cookman. That's what teams do. So if we're so irrelevant, then stop scheduling us. But you can't. That's the thing. You can't.
And to kind of put a bow on this entire conversation, Joe Klatt has gone from one of my favorites in college football to he's an absolute puppet now. And it's obvious that he's a puppet. It's obvious that the money has stolen his credibility and his objectivity. And he's an absolute puppet.
Oh, absolute puppet.
To further your career, to get the opportunity to come in and speak, and for Notre Dame to open the doors, because Notre Dame is very picky about the access they give to the program, and particularly Marcus Freeman. So for Joe Klatt to get the opportunity to come in and speak with Marcus Freeman, and then not only speak with Marcus Freeman, but to leave from that and go on his show and say, my opinion of the independence of Notre Dame has changed. Oh man, I went in there thinking this. I went in there thinking one day, and when I left, just sitting down with Marcus Freeman, I get it. I understand it. Da 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 da. You did all of that for clicks, bro. It's being exposed by what you're doing right now, what you've done since the final rankings. That it was all for clicks. It was inauthentic. Inauthentic.
Joe Klatt used to have authentic takes on draft prospects. He used to be a watchful eye. Now you telling me he's going for clicks?
It's inauthentic, bro. And then he goes and sits with a homer, a flat-out USC homer, and Colin Cowherd, which we know.
Oh, I mean, he's bad. He's bad.
And he says this, love.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but like to schedule Notre Dame because they have such an advantage over these teams that are playing in the Big Ten and the SEC's cases, much more difficult schedules. And now there's this bar, like a minimum bar where all Notre Dame has to do is be in the top 12 with their schedule. Brutal. That's crazy. Meanwhile, we have seen that in the selection-based model, in the invitational that we have in college football, it really comes down to just number of wins and losses. We saw that this year. We saw it last year when those 9-3 teams in the SEC were left out, and similar this year. And if you're USC, you're like, hold on a second. So we're going to have to play 9 Big Ten games, which, by the way, the last 2 national championship champions came from the Big Ten.
Yeah, it could be a third.
They've got it could be a third. You got 3 teams that have a potential to be in the college football semifinals. And we're just going to add Notre Dame because, and they have this sweetheart deal. So I don't disagree with that. Now, there's a huge side of me that just says like, no, I just want to see the game. I want to maintain this game. I'm sure there's a piece of you that feels like
I went to the
that.
game 2 years ago. Of course. But it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense for USC.
All right. Okay.
Doesn't make any sense. Oh.
Don't say you can't believe you're saying this when you've been saying it for many years and you claimed that Marcus Freeman and your visit to Notre Dame kind of changed your mind.
Oh.
Literally, the truth about what you think about Notre Dame could no longer be covered by the inauthenticity of what the residue of that visit was. Eventually, the residue from your visit to South Bend wore off, and the truth about who you were once again came to the forefront, and your take on Notre Dame comes to the forefront. And everything you're saying is trash.
Ugh.
Who took the biggest risk in college football this year out the gate? Notre Dame. Quite frankly, over the last 2 years in the regular season of the ACC, who has been the most consistent in-season, regular season team in the ACC? SMU. Oh, they're on the schedule next year. Who has the tougher last 5 games of the season? USC or Notre Dame? Because we all know when it comes to the college football playoff rankings, it's how you finish.
Except Notre Dame.
Notre Dame has to deal with what Notre Dame has to deal with because of its independency.
Right.
How you finish matters. How you finish matters. Every game matters, but how you finish matters.
Can't be losing in November and late October. Can't be losing now.
If Virginia had finished a great season, they would have been in the playoffs, but they didn't finish.
Facts.
If SMU had finished the year before against Clemson, they would have been in the playoffs. You have to finish. So in the last 5 games of that schedule you put up, Notre Dame is more than likely going to face SMU, BYU, and Miami. SMU, BYU, and Miami over the last 5 games. Really? Okay. USC has Ohio State and Oregon. Back-to-back weeks. That's tough. That's tough. Let's talk about those last 5 games, though. Let's talk about those last. If you can split Ohio State and Oregon, it's a cakewalk, or it should be a cakewalk,
Those last 5 games.
But they're so mid right now, we don't know if that's going to be a cakewalk. See, when you try to sell your schedule as being difficult because you're mid as a program, that falls on deaf ears with me, bro. That falls on deaf ears with me.
Facts.
That falls on deaf ears with me. Wait a minute. People said Indiana had a soft schedule this year. Remember that? Remember that? That was the talk, right? Going into the Big Ten championship. Indiana hasn't played anybody. This is going to be the first time Indiana's really played somebody. They almost lost to Penn State without Drew Aller. Remember all that talk?
Yeah.
We're not sure who Indiana is.
That's right.
Did they not beat Ohio State?
13-10.
Were they not the more physical team on that day?
The whole game.
Regardless of who they played, when they lined up against the best, they beat the best. That's all that matters. Stop all this. Stop all of this. Who you play in the Big Ten has nothing to do with the fact that when Notre Dame has lined up, they literally kicked your butt.
Yeah.
And are going to continue to do so. You know it. Notre Dame knows it. And you're running from competition. So stop using all of these media puppets to sell a narrative to try to take the attention off the fact that USC right now under Lincoln Riley is an average, mediocre football program and a shell of what it used to be under Pete Carroll. That's what it is. And that's not what he came there to do. And that's not what he promised when he showed up during his introductory press conference. You're failing to deliver as a head coach. And it's cowardly to make Notre Dame the scapegoat as to why USC can't become what it used to be. Yeah. Be better than that.
Try to prop yourself up.
Be better than
that.
Yeah,
USC was scared of us as a non-playoff team that we tried to get them. They didn't want us. That's not going to make you guys look like a tougher team.
It's cowardly.
Kirby would never say, hey, we lost to Alabama a couple years. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to keep playing Alabama. Why? If we play him in the playoffs, why do we got to play him twice in the regular? They don't be saying that. He's like, I can't wait for the game. I've never heard a head coach duck out of competition and turn around and say, well, they didn't want us because our schedule's too tough. So we don't, it doesn't go together. If you're saying Notre Dame doesn't want you guys, then what are you saying about your own schedule? And I love that you pointed that out. Because you said because these teams are mid, they are feared of their own schedule.
Mid.
Because they're mid. They say Notre Dame's schedule's weak because they know Notre Dame is better than most of the teams they have to play. You can't call, like you said, you don't know who's going to pop this year. I didn't know Texas State was going to be a playoff team this year. I didn't know Boise State was going to be a playoff team last year. Hell, I didn't even know.
Syracuse was going to be one of the top teams in the ACC as they were dominating Clemson at Clemson, and Steve Angeli tore his Achilles.
Yeah. Steve stays healthy there. We're not beating them by 70-7.
No, and that's a ranked win.
Yeah. So it just goes back to these are excuses. And instead of giving excuses, just give acknowledgement. Say Notre Dame is better than 90% of the teams that they're going to play anyway. So there's not a tough schedule where they're going to cry like these other conference teams and say, oh, well, we have to play X, Y, and Z in conference. Well, if you put us in any conference and give us the same 9-game schedule, what teams are you saying are so complicated and tough for us that we can't beat? You put us in the SEC. Okay, who are we playing that you're like, oh, they're going to struggle here? Most of the teams we are pretty favored in. So I don't understand which direction can we go. If we're a good team, just say that. Just say we don't want to play them while they're hot right now because that's going to mess up our chances as a mid team to struggle to get through this gauntlet. They're hoping that the way they can get through a gauntlet is enough to get into the playoffs. They don't want to have to hope and then they potentially do well and then Notre Dame crush their dreams like every year at the end of the season because they know it's a loss. I've never heard of somebody trying to push a game into these specific parameters only and then say, well, this is all we had. No, don't. I can't get over the fact that they were pocket watching our schedule. Lincoln Riley talking about, well, they're independent. They can do what they want. So we decided that we want to take you guys and like, what? What do you mean? I've never seen them schedule a game so fast. Listen, this is a shame that the rivalry ended this way, but that's what happens when rivalry teams don't hire the right people. Trojans need to be in those Trojan positions. And clearly they don't have enough of school loyalty, tradition loyalty to make it happen. They're losing the sauce in the NIL game. It's unraveling the tradition of the program. But Notre Dame, even with the NIL, even with the playoff structure, can keep its traditions. You don't see us over here talking about, yeah, Stanford is so bad, we don't want to play them no more. No, that's a game that's got to be played. As a Notre Dame football player, you got to go through the Stanford games. It doesn't matter if they're good or not. Some years they be good. But every year is going to be tough. That's no different than us playing Pittsburgh. Yeah, we're a better team. But hell, playing Pittsburgh every week is every year is a tough game for us. Purdue was a tough challenge a few years back. So every team goes through a cycle. But to say, oh, we're so sure that Notre Dame's going to keep beating us that we gotta slow this thing down. That's ridiculous. I just haven't seen any other big-time top 5 of all-time rivalry be ended in a way like this. Hell, most of these teams don't even approach ending rivalry games like this. You don't see Texas, Oklahoma saying, let's not play the game. You don't see Auburn and Alabama, Ohio State, Michigan. It's only with us. I don't get it. It's only with us.
At the end of the day, love, all you want to do is see people compete. Same thing with boxing that the boxing fans said. Like, yo, when can we have the Hagler, Hearns, Duran, Leonard round robin where they all face each other?
We got one tomorrow, though.
Just let them fight. Let the best play. Let them fight.
Yeah.
When you have promoters and the people at the top putting the business before the competition, it hurts the product. It hurts the brand. And who pays for it? Who pays for it? The fandom. Because we have to pay now for streaming. We have to pay more to view it. We have to pay more money to get a ticket to the game or get a ticket to the event. And the product is not about competition. The product is not what we want to consume.
Because their business affairs aren't in order. They trying to chase money and lose sight of what brings in the money, which is the competition.
The competition has brought in the money. The competition is what built the brand. The NBA was not built on Boston and LA. It was built on the competition of Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson. The same competition that made one of the best Final Fours of all time from 1979 what it was. 2 players, their competition, who's the best, and it spilled over into the NBA. That is what grows and generates revenue. And now that you're actually getting the revenue, You don't want to grow the revenue. You just want to make sure you protect it.
Yeah.
Now you want to protect the revenue. You're not focused on actually making USC football great again. You're focused on making the path easier to help facilitate making USC football great again. Instead of just putting in the work in recruiting, development, and having an elite coach. Come on, man. You're trying to create paper champions. You're trying to create Tommy Morrisons. You remember that Rocky movie where Tommy Morrison felt like, yo, I have to face Rocky. I have to face
Rocky.
I have to face an old Rocky, an old man. I have to face him because people feel like I'm a paper champion. And that's how USC is going to look. Doesn't matter whether or not you play Notre Dame, you're fugazi. And everybody knows it. And you're going to continually be exposed, or you will continually be exposed by the Big Ten competition because you're fugazi. You're flat out fugazi. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Tap in TikTok, Twitter, X, Instagram. Lucky Lefty Pod. Subscribe to YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. It helps with the views. We are presented by FanDuel. FanDuel.com. You go over to download the FanDuel app or simply go to FanDuel.com. Once again, the quarterfinals are here of the college football playoffs. Some great matchups. It begins tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. The Miami Hurricanes will take on the Ohio State Buckeyes. And the Buckeyes are favored by 9.5 points over the Miami Hurricanes. You can get that and much more. Prop bets, lines for the quarterfinals over at FanDuel, FanDuel.com. Download the FanDuel app. Go ahead, Left.
I was like, you out there preaching, SD. You gotta give that prophetic word to these guys out here that just are so lost. They lost in the confusion of the media.
Dude, they're trying to turn this into modern day boxing. They're trying to turn into boxing to where no one faces each other. No one fights each other. No one takes a risk. And that's what you get.
That's literally what you get. All because of money. They want to see if they can get that bag at the end of the season, cruise through the regular season. And then after they make it, they probably don't even care too much about winning at that point. They just want to get in.
So, really, the theme of tonight's show, as we transition, is big loss or big opportunity. Big loss or big opportunity. And Notre Dame has lost a lot. They have lost a lot in the transfer portal. But big loss or big opportunity, what is it in particular that we're looking at with this Notre Dame offseason?
Well, if you're ask me, I think it's obvious it's loss with opportunity, like potential with anything. However, a lot of things have to take place that are different in this offseason than last offseason. This is not an offseason for offense to be in question of what's going to happen. Plans and meetings need to be had now as an offense because you know the pieces to the puzzle, who's going to be where, for the most part. We've seen a guy like MALIK and Will Pauling come in, add in late, and that's fine. But the biggest thing is that you have a quarterback. It's a different offseason when you go into this offseason with a starter. And that's the approach it should be taken as. This is Tom Brady, and we got to figure out how to get in sync with Tom Brady coming into this year because it's not a question of who are we going to give it to or we can rely on X, Y, Z. We got to know what we're doing going in because we have to win games. This is not CJ, don't lose them. This is CJ, you got to win them season. It's a good season to be in because if it goes right, we got a Heisman. We got playoffs. We got, best all time at Notre Dame. but it's a huge jump also. Defense, it's a loss because in my opinion, we lost a lot of 1Bs. Not guys that are necessary first round picks, but guys that added to the overall strength of what we had defensively, especially in the run game. And it provides opportunity for young guys that we've seen take that challenge on defensively. Majority of young guys that come into the defensive fold, start for the first time, start getting a lot of minutes, they usually translate pretty well because the overall defense is structured so they can fit in. They can be a plug-and-play guy. What guys missing out of this year, the reliance on the team is they got to find new leadership from the coaching staff and on the field. It's just a nuance. So, yeah, it's a loss because losing anybody outside of a few players is tough because it's a brand new team every year. But the opportunity of a potential star that we were excited for going into last season and even this season can happen. There's room for the next star to happen. So that's what I'm excited about.
And what we mean by that, you can look at it from a team standpoint. Please join us in the conversation in the chat. Will the 2026 offseason be more of a big loss or a big opportunity for Notre Dame? Big loss or big opportunity? How would you look at this offseason? Or is it something that you say, I'm going to have to wait and see? I think from a team aspect, you look at the loss of not making the college football playoff, but you look at now Notre Dame, even in the release of the statement that the team made in the aftermath of the final rankings, they had their hearts, minds, and motivation and energy already spearheaded towards the 2026 season. They were already locked in.
Already.
Now, those guys that knew that they weren't coming back, unfortunately, they couldn't be part of that. But even there was buzz at the Heisman weekend when Jeremiah Love spoke about, the difficulty and the disappointment of not making the playoff. But then he said, well, we just start to move forward. Now we start to move forward and focus on 2026. When he made that statement, people started thinking, well, man, is Jeremiah Love coming back? No, he knew he wasn't coming back.
That's just the expectation, yeah.
Yes, the expectation is, and it's hard for people to realize that this program has gotten to a point, especially people outside, maybe some people inside the fan base still don't recognize it. This football program is at a point where it is really championship or bust now. That's the way they feel as players.
Yeah.
That locker room is like championship or bust, bro. Nothing else satisfies us.
Not no Pop-Tarts.
No, we've tasted a national championship game.
Yeah, you don't go backwards.
No, it's championship or bust. That's it.
Not championship or Pop-Tarts or Doritos or Snoop Dogg or no, we've got too close. This year, I thought it was going to be our Clemson year. Battle back, get to the championship the next year, win it. And it wasn't us, in my opinion, that stopped it necessarily. Because if you said it's about how you finish the season, we finished pretty great. So I do think that taste and being put in that position only makes you more ready. You're really not thinking about anything else other than playoff games. And I don't know why, obviously fans of other programs don't have that same expectation. So they try to pull us in with everybody else. Oh, join the conference. Oh, you guys need to do this. You guys need to do that. You need to play us in Mexico. They all got their opinions, but they're all coming after witnessing what we just did. That's why I said last year, if we were to win it, it would have really shook up college football. Because what would they say now? Okay, let's say the same situation, we missed it this year, but we won the championship last year. What could they say? All they say now is join the conference. Y'all haven't won nothing since '88. if Marcus Freeman won that thing last year, yes, this is why I said he would have had a statue. Look at how they're treating the man a year after with the better team. So that's why Marcus Freeman ain't going nowhere, in my opinion. That Illini won too? Good grief. Good grief.
See, that's what happens. SEC, you're so great. You're so great. But you can't beat Illinois. One of your blue bloods can't beat Illinois. Illinois smacked South Carolina last year. That's all Illinois does. We just smack SEC schools. That's what they do. Oh, they smacked USC as well.
Did they put Kenny in the suite? Because he's from down there.
He might be down there.
He went to the game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he might be in the suite.
He might be in the suite. He might be in
the Brett Bielema suite.
You know what I mean?
That might have been the recruiting pitch right there. Hey, look, Kenny, you come to the right.
Yes. So, first of all, Roosevelt, I don't even respect you right now, bro. I don't respect you as a fan. I respect other Miami fans. I respect USCJ as a USC fan. You my brother, but I just don't respect your fandom. Because when your team's not good, you run and hide. And then when your team all of a sudden pops up in the playoff, now you want to pop up.
You in the comments. You all in the comments.
I don't respect your fandom.
All in the comments.
Honestly, that's cowardly.
How many times have we said, where's Roosevelt?
We said it all offseason during the playoffs last year. Where's Roosevelt? He's nowhere to be found. He did all of that talking. Nowhere to be found.
Well, we couldn't get him on the show.
Nowhere.
We sending them links and when we gonna start. We sharing the link to get on with us. He literally disappeared.
Congratulations on making the playoffs. Congratulations on making the playoffs. But if you don't make it to the national championship game, there's nothing to talk about.
Nothing to talk about.
There's nothing to talk about. What are you doing with it?
Yeah.
What are you doing with it?
What you gonna keep saying? Y'all beat us in week 1?
What are you doing?
No, you get the championship.
You're gonna be like LeBron. You can tell me all the NBA finals you got to, but what did you do with all those times? What did you do with all of that?
Just 1-4. That's all. Just 1-4.
4 out of how many?
Why I gotta be out of how many?
Why I gotta be all that? 4 out of how many though? 4 out of how many?
Why?
That's fine. So basically, I'm glad you admit it. I'm glad. So basically, he said cowardly is taking your ball and going home. Yes, just like you did when you disappeared. You're right. So you're just as cowardly as Notre Dame. You're right.
In the house,
right. Based upon your logic, you're right. You were a coward as a fan, and based upon your logic, Notre Dame were cowards. I'll give you that.
No, they didn't. Miami didn't take their ball.
Based upon his logic. I said based upon his logic, he just basically indicted himself. Throw yourself in the same pot. You're right. Taking your ball and going home based upon your logic is cowardly. You did it. You did it as a fan when you disappeared because things weren't going your way. And only to return when things were looking much better.
Only to return. I'm talking about rose from the dead. I thought this man got a whole new
dude. We had the intercessors praying for him, left.
Yeah.
We were concerned about him.
We had Lucky Lefty Nation looking and
I was blessed enough that he did inbox me and say, bro, I'm doing good. The family's good. You know, he was blessed to start.
Miami's just down. Miami's just down.
So we did make contact with him because I told you I love him like a brother. Outside of the show, I reached out to him like, bro, really, I'm just checking on you. Good? Hey, he let me know he was good. I was fine. But as far as like the show and the chat, nowhere to be found. Nowhere. So, like I said, congratulations. Enjoy your playoff berth.
Enjoy
the Texas A&M win.
Do something with it.
Enjoy. You got to do something with it.
Do something with it because you still ain't won no bowl games since Cristobal been there.
Got to do something with it.
Still ain't won no bowl games since Cristobal been there. So this is a big game for him.
Got to do something with it.
You don't hang up playoff wins in the school, do you?
So let's get to it. No, well, stop. Stop lying. Stop lying. Dude, don't lie.
Blocked you.
Roosevelt Carr, we ain't never blocked you.
No, Roosevelt. No, Roosevelt.
Don't come in this chat line, bro. Don't do that.
Fuck,
Don't do that.
We didn't do that.
Well, so, see, this is when the math doesn't math. I blocked you on YouTube, but I reached out to you to make sure you were okay.
Look at that.
How does that add up? Explain that. I blocked you on YouTube, but I cared about you so much
Found
that
a way to reach
out. I reached
Found a
out
way to
personally to make sure that you were okay and to ask what's going on with you after I blocked you on YouTube. Come on, bro. You got to do better than that. You got my chats. Now it's chats not going through YouTube. Stop.
We love it, Roosevelt. We glad you back. We glad that Miami had to revive you. We glad. We glad Miami revived you. Now you can stay on. Now don't disappear when y'all lose it tomorrow. I don't want. See, I'm glad that you're here because I don't want you to go tomorrow. Don't be a flyby. Here today, going tomorrow. Be here tomorrow specifically. That's how I want it. I don't want you to take another monk vacay, 9-month Buddha trip.
Not a Buddha
Getting your plotting on how Miami can rise back to prominence. You back now, apparently. You're back now.
Hey,
so
and we love you, bro. Once again, man, enjoy this playoff run. And, man, blessings to you and your family, as I always tell you when we talk outside of the show. So let's go down the list. Big picture left. Chat, big picture. Big loss, big opportunity. 2025 being kept out of the playoff. How Notre Dame is facing this gauntlet, not as far as the schedule, but the gauntlet of mentally getting over that and getting back to the playoffs in 2026. Is it a big loss because of everything that they've lost, particularly on the offensive side? We talked about Donovan Heinisch having to retire. You lose Jadarian Price, Jeremiah Love, that explosiveness. You lose the big receiver in Malachi Fields. You lose Emil Wagner. You lose Billy Stroud. That's a lot. That's a lot. Josh Burnham jumps in the portal today. With all of that loss, is this going to be an offseason of big loss, or is this going to be an offseason for Notre Dame as a team, a big opportunity left? How do you see it? Is this offseason about big loss, or is it about big opportunity? Before we get to the individuals,
about big opportunity because we and everybody else sees the loss. Everybody else that would have a Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price would fall off the next year. That's what everybody's expecting. Look at the Penn State running backs. They said the Penn State combo was better than the Notre Dame combo just last year. Just last year. The next year, they coach gone. They losing games. You haven't heard of people them running backs. That's what people think is going to happen to Notre Dame next year. They're going to be like, well, y'all ain't got those two, so who y'all going to go to? That's the question to answer, but that's the opportunity for Notre Dame. We've been sitting on a lot of talent. A lot of talent has been shelved. A lot of talent has been untapped. A lot of that we're excited and the fan base excited about, but the world doesn't know about. That's the opportunity. So how do you bridge that? CJ, get on the phone with your people right now. You should be throwing to your people right today because the experience gap is missing with this team. Who's going to be the big bros to rely on? It's going to have to come from the talented young guys. And that takes a lot of patience, a lot of practice, and a lot of unity. Y'all just got to be boys. This is where y'all really become friends. Because it's a young team. That's the only way you make it through is how strong of a team are you together? And how does that talent come through? Because you can't say we're gonna rely on this seniority. Where? You gotta bring in the seniority. So this is where the development of the Notre Dame program shines this year. We're not going to be featured by some transfer. I don't think there's a transfer good enough to be featured over the talent that I think we can show with this opportunity next year. That's where I see it as is either in-house makes it happen or we're going to struggle. It's really that simple. So with the loss comes great opportunity, and I think we'll be in that good spot provided we take that big jump.
It's amazing you say that because I start specifically with the defensive line. And I'm going to say this. People have said it in the chat. They said it on social media concerning not only the loss of Donovan Hinish from yesterday, but then you put that and connect that to the loss of Josh Burnham in the transfer portal as he jumps into the portal later this evening is when it was announced this afternoon. When you talk about that, people are like, man, maybe you need to go get somebody in portal, defensive line. Maybe you need to go get two people in the defensive line, for the defensive line in the portal. And honestly, it's a big loss. I'm not about to sugarcoat it. As you said, it's not like Josh Burnham was like a day one, day two player at defensive end. We're not about to over-evaluate that. But one could surmise that he was the best edge player on the team the second half of the season. First half of the season, he dealt with a minor injury, fought through it, got healthier, and then he just wasn't getting snaps for whatever reason. But ultimately, once he started playing and getting snaps, he outplayed everybody on that defensive line on the edge, in my opinion. I talked about Boubacar Traore yesterday, and I expected more. I knew he was going to be a little bit slower, and I expected him to really come on as the season went on. I still expected more from a production standpoint, particularly pressuring the quarterback from Boubacar Traore, and I expect even more moving forward as he gets further away from that ACL injury. But the Josh Burnham injury makes me think that now this is a big opportunity for us to really put development on the defensive line under the microscope, because consistently they've gone to the portal for the interior of the defensive line. Well, now Chris Burgess Jr., Armel Mukam, Cole Mullins, Sean Sevillano Jr., many of the other young guys that we've been hearing about, Jason Onye, if he is allowed to come back, many of these young guys we've been hearing about coming, like you said, Left, it's time for that talent to come to the forefront, man. That's the same thing for the wide receiver room. And this, for me, tremendous loss. And we're about to get into what you think the offense needs to transition to, because you shared some things with me about CJ Carr before we started the show. Look, this is a tremendous opportunity for CJ Carr. Tremendous loss. Tremendous loss. The luxury he had.
Yeah.
The run game.
Yeah.
The two running backs. That's a tremendous luxury.
Sure. Run game.
Absolutely.
You're
I'm talking about
game.
Game-breaking run game. Not just a grinded-out run game. I'm talking about hand it off and just watch. You go watch that touchdown run against Pitt. CJ Carr is in the background. Before Jeremiah Love makes the safety miss on the spin move, CJ Carr already has his arms up like this. Before the spin move, he knew it's a wrap. I don't know if he feels that confident next year in the run game.
No.
That is that explosive.
No.
That was the luxury that he had as a starting quarterback. And we can't sit here and act like that luxury didn't help or he didn't benefit from that. When he did not play his best against USC,
against Boston College,
he leaned on the run game. He had a run game, an explosive run game that could be backed up on the 4-yard line, and pow, Your running back is joking with his sideline once he gets to the 50, looking for his coach because he told his coach he was going to bust one. He doesn't have that now left.
Yeah, and
So
you're
it's a
not getting
tremendous
the portal.
loss.
And you're not getting
loss, but it's a tremendous opportunity. It's a big loss, but it's a big opportunity. I think as much as we talk about they need to go get a wide receiver in the portal, if you cannot get a number one wide receiver out of the guys you have, I have to start looking at the development. It's either the development or it's either the observation and evaluation. It's one or the other. It's one or the other.
Yeah.
We keep hearing about this kid. We hear about Cam Williams. He's coming on. He's raw. He's learning, but he's coming on.
Yeah, we can't hear none of that. Yeah.
K.K. Smith is making plays. Jane Greathouse every offseason. Oh, man, this is his breakout year. Micah Gilbert, he could be a guy. All of a sudden, he scores a touchdown, then he gets injured. Okay. We keep hearing all of this stuff, but we don't see stars.
Right.
We don't see number ones.
At all.
And at some point, it becomes unacceptable. This year for 2026 offensively, love, before I let you rock, is all about big opportunity. There is big opportunity for the players that are currently on this roster. Big opportunity, including C.J. Carr. And that is what I look at this offseason. Yes, big losses. Big losses. But I choose to focus on the big opportunity that is before Notre Dame, specifically on the offensive side of the ball. Left, you want to talk about the challenge of the offense and how things are going to change because of the lack of luxury and big play capability. Not that the running backs can't make big plays and chunk plays.
We know that it's not going to be what we had last year.
It's not going to look like that. So
it can be good, but it's not going to be last year. And I think that is the underlying biggest loss because that's the truth. There was many times in these games, even though those that we won, when it was tight in those games, it was the running game that broke it open. It's a whole new offense next year.
Mm-hmm.
And how we position CJ, this was the test run year. This was when you get the test drive the Ferrari, the Maserati, the SL50, the AMG. You was testing out all the nice cars. But now you actually got a car and it's a Gran Turismo. That's the car you actually own. You was renting cars before. You was sliding in them nice Audis and BMWs and Lamborghini trucks and all of that. But you actually bought a car and it was a Gran Turismo. That's the one you own. Now with this, you got to drive it like it was a Ferrari. You got to be able to handle and do the same things, but you got to make it look like one. What is that? Chrysler look like a Phantom till a Phantom show up? We had to turn that Phantom in. And in my opinion, we got a Chrysler 300. It's a nice vehicle. But you can deck that thing out and make it look like a Phantom. And that's what CJ's got to do. He got to put them 24-inch tires on that thing. He got to put some Daytons on it. He got to make the inside the peanut butter leather with the outside. He got to do all that. Because that's what it's going to take to win. He's not just going to have the car out the shop. The 2025 Lamborghini, he's just not going to get that this year. But because we love his credit, he's got good credit. He think he's a really good driver. We think he can handle this. We think he's so good, we don't need a luxury car to still win. That's what we're saying in this year. A lot of the years, the last 2 years has been what? What's the theme? It's not about the quarterback. Why? Because we had too many pieces. You gonna dress up a Rolly? No, you don't bust down a Rolly. It has more value as the original. It has more value. So we never had to do too much. Now, it's okay, CJ. These parts are good, but we don't know how good. We think you're good. That's why you won the competition and got the parade ride of a lifetime last year. But now you got to take it up a notch, which is fine. It's the natural process. But we told you last year, whoever won this competition, you're going to have to be the dude. This is bigger than winning between the two. This is who's going to be sitting in New York 2 years from now. That's where Marcus Freeman's vision for his quarterback position, where it needs to be. And we have the actual talent to possibly have that. Ohio State does it. Julian Sand got the ride of a lifetime, but he was prepared. Made all the right plays. He's got a lot of luxury over there. But that's where their program is. They have so much luxury that the driver get the credit. That's that Hemi engine. But the driver go get the credit because the car's so nice. CJ got to make the car nice. You got to drive it like it's nice. Because that's what Marcus Freeman gave you the keys for. He was like, yeah, you test drive these nice ones, but the car we need got to be, it got to get there. The radio don't work sometimes. You got to make it work. The speedometer be going crazy sometimes. You got to make it work. You got to fix that. But if he's able to do it, I think we finally get the credit and the perspective of we're in the right spot. And CJ will be the man. We tried to nominate him a little fast, but this is the year where you nominate him. This is the year where the 3,500 yards and the 30, 40 touchdowns count. Because if you're looking at it as a take a step back, where is the points going to come from? Offensively. Aeneas Williams is not what Jeremiah Love had, 21 touchdowns next year. He's not. And the backup to Aeneas, if we don't get a guy, is not going to have Jadarian's, 18 touchdowns.
Honestly, that's where the drop-off is. Like, if you could talk about Aeneas stepping up, that's fine.
That's fine.
There is no number two like Jadarian Price.
That's what I'm saying.
That's just not. There is no number two like Jadarian Price. That's
so
not.
The wealth has to be spread out, is what we're saying. And that's where the struggle is going to be, because now Michael Gilbert, you got to collect some of them touchdowns Jadarian took. KK Smith, you got to get some of them touchdowns MALIK don't have. Jordan Faison can't have 40 touchdowns next year. So who's CJ? You got to be the guy giving the touchdowns around. Because Aeneas, on a good year with him elevating, I'm expecting 10 touchdowns. That's a good year. That's a good year. If your one running back has 10 touchdowns, that's a good year. Jeremiah Love had 21. What? That's the difference. And the backup had like 17. If we just look at those numbers equated to the games where we're winning by 30 points. You take those away, we're winning by 7, 14, maybe 10. I mean, seriously, that's where the loss is. Who's going to score them that 30-point plus gap? We know we can win the game, but winning it by 30, that's where it takes those two that we're losing. Jaden Greyhouse had one touchdown this year? He didn't play, but that's not good enough. Jordan Faison had 5? That's good, but that's not good enough to win a championship. Who else had touchdowns outside of them two? Even Eli Raridan didn't have no touchdowns. So he was your every down tight end. So you take Malachi's touchdowns, Jeremiah Love's touchdowns, and Jadarian Price touchdowns. You basically have a whole new offense. Basically, because the touchdowns that CJ had were from those dudes. So all of CJ's numbers graduated with him. So he's basically starting at 0. Well, he got one, Michael Gilbert, first game of the season, but that's few and far between. Cam Williams has 0. You know, that's his roommate. He got to put his boy on. I mean, essentially. And I think that's a huge perspective change than last year. You look at Denbrock, even looking at this year from last year, Denbrock's like, we got to have a solution. We got to have people to go to. We can't get lazy and just run Jadarian and Jeremiah Love back-to-back drives and break the game open. Where they having 24 and 20 carries in the game. We can't win that way because they're not here. So if I'm Denbrock, I'm like, sheesh. I got CJ. I would honestly have to think, what is his offense going to look like? The last
go ahead and transition, Love. Schematically, what opportunities lays before Mike Denbrock? We know the loss, but schematically, how does he build this thing around CJ?
He's got to start with short yardage. We were direct snapping to our running backs last year in short majority of the time. It was more than once. It wasn't just one time. It was a good chunk of time. So that's a whole new offseason to look at, which I think he needs to put CJ under center. CJ's not good in short yardage, catching the snap 7 yards from the line of scrimmage. Because if it breaks down, he doesn't have the speed or athleticism that far away to pick up the first down with his legs, which is a total mind shift from Denbrock, who we've seen from Riley, short yards king, seen from Jaden Daniels, bunch of running yards, seen from, when our offense struggled, Sam Hartman couldn't run. I mean, Sam Hartman couldn't run. So now you're getting in a position where what's our options? We're not rolling CJ out on short yardage. We need to go in the center. Second thing is, what are CJ's go-tos? Last year, I was playing arts and crafts, getting guys late, getting guys from injury, getting transfers I haven't seen for, you know what I mean? So now I got in-house guys. What is my real offense? We still don't have a quick game or intermediate game, which I think are CJ's strengths. Our red zone offense has been awful, in my opinion. If you're thinking of how we used our two running backs so much compared to what are we going to use in the next year, I can't even think about it. Hell, our tight end didn't even catch a touchdown in the red zone last year. So what's the play calls? I don't even know the play calls for the red zone because CJ was either out the game, lined up at receiver, lined up at running back, rolling out with 5 yards. I mean, it was all over the place. So the creativity's got to be there because you have a lot of talent. You just don't have a one. So finding your one, who's CJ's guy? Are we going to keep hiring guns from China to support CJ for a year? That's not going to work long. Not if you're trying to get him to master an offense. He need to have guys that been around. So it's a huge challenge for Denbrock schematically, considering the first 2 years are drastically going to be different when your quarterback doesn't run the football. You don't have two legendary backs. We're not running read option. You got to find another thing for that. You thought RPOs was the way, and we eliminated that in 2 weeks. Hell, a week. So this is where you got to know your quarterback, Gino Gaduli. What are CJ's strengths? relay that to Denbrock. Build the offense around CJ. If it's not CJ, it's not nothing. I don't want it's not an offense to be featuring anybody else this year. So that's the development I would like to see. How do we make this about the quarterback? You can't give him the spotlight while you got your main dish over here. They be trying to get an appetizer all the love, but the chicken Alfredo is why you can't. Now CJ the main dish. So it's gonna be interesting.
And I think one other thing we touch on or need to touch on before we get out of here, we thank everybody for joining us today right here, Lucky Lefty Podcast. TikTok, Twitter, X, Instagram at Lucky Lefty Pod. Subscribe on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. We appreciate you. Leave your comments, questions. We respond to all. Home of the Misguided Passion, forever committed to making sure that we spend it different. Before we get out of here, Left, I said this to you. The explosiveness was at the running back position for 2 seasons. It's time for a large bulk of the explosiveness on the Notre Dame offense to transition or to be transferred to the wide receiver and tight end rooms.
That's it.
Plain and simple.
That's it.
No one is making disparaging remarks about the running backs that are still on the roster when we say they're not Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price.
They're just not.
That's not saying, oh, they can't get it done. That's not what we're saying.
No.
That's just having an honest evaluation on the talent and ceiling of the guys in the room.
Yeah.
You have a top 10 to 15 pick in the NFL draft and a late first round, second round running back as your backup. Both leaving.
Stayed healthy the whole season.
Both were explosive with the ball in their hands. Both were explosive with the ball receiving through the air. And one of them was explosive as a kickoff return specialist. Where? That you don't have that on the roster. And it's okay to say we don't have that on the roster without feeling like, oh, you guys are being dismissive to what's left. We're not being dismissive. We're actually just commemorating and showing flowers and giving flowers to what we've had the opportunity to experience as a fan base. However, it's a big loss, but it's a big opportunity for this offense to finally transfer more of the weight for explosive plays to the quarterback, the wide receivers, and the tight ends. It's time. It's time.
That 60-40 or that 70-30 run pass, not good no more.
And Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love, they were perfect or were a perfect bridge.
Perfect bridge.
Perfect bridge.
Perfect bridge.
They were a perfect bridge to CJ Carr and this passing offense. Man, stepping into what is the norm for elite teams in college football now. It's time for these wide receivers to start breaking some of these plays, taking 10-yard catches, receptions, and turning them into 60-yard touchdowns.
Catch tackles aren't good enough anymore.
It's absolutely time for this tight end room. Last week I said the tight end room has an opportunity to really surprise people. I believe that. And Renee, I agree, it might be a bit big ask, but you need big plays to win championships. Where are they going to come from?
That's all we asking. I asking about every team that we play. Who's going to get the touchdown?
How many times has Jadarian Price come up with a big kickoff return in a game? And a key point in the game. Who's doing that next year? Who's doing that?
A lot of action came from 2 guys now.
I mean, let's be honest. It's time for that to be spread out because the 2 guys that carry the weight of those big plays are no longer on the roster, no longer in the program. Now, the diversity that you talked about in this offense, for whatever reason, whether it's his youth, inexperience, going through a battle throughout fall camp and not having a chance to really work on certain things. Yes, CJ Carr needs to be under center. The offense needs to have diversity. It needs to spread out. It needs to take advantage of every scrap of talent. Every piece of talent you have, it needs to be used next year. It needs to be used. Big loss, but absolutely big opportunity is what I see for Notre Dame's offense in 2026, and big opportunity for Mike Denbrock with CJ Carr at the helm of this offense for his second year.
That's right. That's right.
It is what it is. It is what it is. You know, some people might be worried left. Some people might be trying to figure out how it's going to come to pass. I do think that the coaching staff is going to figure it all out.
Yeah, they got time. They're not playing guessing games all season.
Yeah, Lord knows that's all they have right now is time. Lucky Lefty Podcast. Great show today, Left. Once again, tap in. If you go over to FanDuel.com for the quarterfinals, you will find Indiana is a 6.5 point favorite in the Rose Bowl against Alabama, with Miami taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes coming off a loss. The last time they came off a loss going into the playoffs, they ran the table and won the national championship. Can they back it up and double up? We'll see starting tomorrow night at 6:30. As they are installed as 9.5 point favorites over at FanDuel. FanDuel.com, download the FanDuel app. We appreciate you guys so much. Have a great new year. We will not see you tomorrow. We will not see you Thursday. We will be back with you on Friday to talk about the quarterfinals. Before we get out of here, Left, who do you have? Oregon against Texas Tech, Left.
Dante Moore.
Yeah, it's sentimental for me too. I'm taking Oregon in that matchup. I think it's going to be tough because I think Texas Tech is a tough team, but I'll be pulling for Oregon. Indiana, Alabama. Who you got, Left?
Yeah, Indy. I got Indy Mendoza. You know, I think he's ready to take that next step.
Miami, Ohio State.
Ohio State easy. Get them out of here. They've had a nice season. Miami has. They won their Super Bowl already, so you know I don't even think they care about winning this one.
And last but not least, Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs, in my opinion, the only shot that the SEC has of making a national championship. How do you see the matchup?
I got Georgia, man. I think
Georgia and Ole Miss. Yeah.
Georgia's got a lot to prove from last year's embarrassing loss by Notre Dame from 90 passing yards. So I think Kirby, and especially getting out coached and embarrassed on a special teams opportunity where coaching matters, I think he's got a lot to prove, got those guys ready to play.
Well, like I said, the Oregon game is sentimental for me because Dante Moore is our boy. If I'm not rooting for Notre Dame, I'm always rooting for our boy Carnell Tate. At same breath, I'm always rooting for Justin Scott and Marquise Lightfoot as well. You know, I'm Chicago to the core. Everybody knows that. I rep Chicago all day. So that's hard for me. That Miami-Ohio State game is hard for me, Left, because I got 3 of my guys in there really repping the Chicago area. And
all right, you still a football guy though. You know,
I'm gonna sit back and watch.
Come on now, let's
like
be
this.
Let's be objective.
I talk to see Tate more than I talk to the other two.
Whatever reason you need to say Ohio State, you go ahead and say it.
You see, you're from Ohio, so you're gonna say Ohio State. Just
Ohio State's a better team. Like, come on, man. You see how them guys are talking. You see how them guys are talking.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Left. The only issue I have, because I have profound respect for Miami. I watched them against the Fighting Irish. I know who they are. I know how physical they are in the trenches. I just don't respect Carson Beck in big games, bro. He didn't play well. Marcel Reed just played worse.
And
that's it. Mark
and their
Fletcher,
offensive coordinator is he choking the moment.
Oh, Shannon Jones too.
Double reverses and like, what is he doing? He loved that quarterback throwing. I mean, Malachi Tony throwing the ball. Like, come on, man.
Honestly, Miami could have got Texas A&M out of that earlier. All they had to do was run Mark Fletcher. That's all they had to do all game. Yeah. They were so caught up in trying to get the ball to Malachi Tony with good reason. He's absolutely incredible. Shannon Dawson almost gave that game away. What they did late in the fourth quarter, they should have been doing. They should have been doing that the majority of the game. Absolutely. I agree with you there. Shannon Dawson almost gave it away. Look, Carson Beck for me is an accident waiting to happen. The 2 games they lost, that Carson Beck showed up. Can that Carson Beck avoid appearing in 4 straight games? That's the challenge. That's flat out the challenge. Because Julian Sand isn't exactly due. Indiana, in my opinion, exposed Julian Sand if you get pressure on him.
Yeah.
They pressured him, and you saw what he turned into. So, look, you talking about 2 talented teams. Of course, turnovers. I'll say this. Defensively, I know they lost one of their defensive backs, one of the starters at defensive back. I know one of the safeties was injured against Texas A&M, but I think he'll be coming back. The Fitzgerald kid is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
That youngster is going to be the next young great safety in Miami. Those are some dudes, bro.
Yeah.
Those are some dudes. I'm sorry, bro. Miami secondary has not seen anybody like 4. They have not.
Nope.
I'll say it again. They have not seen anybody like 4.
Or 17.
And they have not seen anybody like 17 in the ACC this year. They just have not. They have not. If they rattle Julian Sand, that's going to make it interesting, and they have the front 4 to do it. But you know who the key is? You know who the key is? Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson. Don't sleep on Bo Jackson. That's all I'm saying.
If they let him get loose, Miami has no chance.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a good game. That's why I said the 9.5 shocks me. It shocks me. That not, bro. 9.5.
They have Carson Beck, man.
I think I agree with you. I agree with you on Carson Beck, but 9.5 is a lot of points because Miami is a talented team. They really are. And the trenches, bro.
Talented for 13 points against Texas A&M? Please spare me this talent.
Okay.
13 points? Come on.
Okay. All right. I can honestly say, though, this is the first time, and this is not disrespectful, as good as Malachi Tony is, he's the 3rd best wide receiver in this game.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. For the first time, I think he won't be the best player on the field.
But it's just unfortunate. Nobody on the Miami secondary would start in the Ohio State secondary. So, who?
Oh, man, you're right. Obi Matthews Jr. has come on. Yeah. You might be right.
The D-line, interior D-line for Ohio State? Shoot. I'm taking Malik Washington. What's his name? Number 95?
Well, I would take
interior boy is crazy at Ohio State.
I would probably take Bang as the best D lineman in the game, but Kenyatta is right behind him. Yeah, I would take Kenyatta Jackson over Messidor on a down-to-down basis. I would
And
take
then Bane done got exposed already. He got exposed last week against that tackle.
I don't think he got exposed, bro.
He doesn't have long arms.
I mean, dude, what God made him that way, bro. I mean, he has to do what he
can. They're saying he's first round pick. He's not a first round pick with short arms. Find me a short arm first round pick guy.
Now, historically speaking, you're talking about the NFL. We're not talking about college football. In the NFL, the short arms will become an issue. That historically, that's an issue. That I would not fight you on that. As far as the NFL, as far as college football, he hasn't been exposed, bro. Come on.
Yeah, one tackle last week.
Yeah.
Aaron Donald plays in the interior, so like unless he's interior, he's not big enough. He's got to gain like 30 pounds if he's gonna go into the interior.
But that's not interior. Interior, we've seen John Randall, Aaron Donald. We've seen that. We're talking about on the edge. On the edge.
Right, on the edge. Like
historically, it's not. It doesn't work well when you don't have long arms. Yeah, interior wise, you can do that with quickness and leverage, but on the edge, no, it doesn't work for you. So I was speaking. You're speaking about the edge because he's an edge. He's an edge player. All right, Left. Great show, guys. Man, we'll see you Friday. Love each other. Happy New Year to everybody, and continue to make sure that you spend it differently.